The most painful chair I have ever seen wasn't broken. No one was sitting in it. That was the problem. At 88 years old, I have learned that an empty chair can weigh more than a person. It carries birthdays you missed, Christmas dinners you refused to attend, grandchildren who grew up waving at photographs instead of grandparents. Some people inherit family heirlooms. I inherited silence, and for far too many years, I believed I had earned the right to keep it. If you stay with me, I'll tell you how one empty chair at my granddaughter's wedding shattered 26 years of pride. It wasn't a miracle that changed my family. It was something much smaller. Someone simply refused to give up on me. My daughter, Rebecca, was born on a snowy February morning in 1962. The nurse placed her in my arms and joked that she had my stubborn chin. She was right. Rebecca inherited every stubborn bone I possessed. When she was 16, we'd argue about curfews. At 20, we argued about college. At 25, we argued about the man she wanted to marry. He doesn't have a stable future, I told her. He has a good heart, she answered. A good heart doesn't pay the mortgage. She smiled sadly. You sound exactly like Grandpa. I took it as an insult. It should have been a warning. She married Daniel anyway. I attended the wedding. I smiled for the photographs. But inside, I was waiting for their marriage to fail. That is an ugly thing for a mother to admit. A year later, they bought a tiny house. I criticized it. When they had their first child, I criticized how they raised him. When they moved across town instead of closer to me, I called it selfish. The truth was simpler. I wanted control. I called it concern because that sounded kinder. The final argument happened on an ordinary Tuesday. Rebecca had invited me for dinner. I spent the entire evening correcting her. The vegetables were overcooked. The children stayed up too late. Daniel worked too much. Finally, she placed her fork on the table. Her voice stayed calm. Mom, I interrupted. I'm only trying to help. She looked directly into my eyes. No. A long silence filled the room. You're trying to make my life look like yours. I stood up. If you don't appreciate my advice, maybe I shouldn't come anymore. She nodded slowly. I think we both need some time. I walked out expecting her to call within a week. She didn't. I told everyone she had abandoned me. It was easier than admitting I had pushed her away. Months became years. Years became decades. Friends died. My husband passed away. Still, I waited for Rebecca to apologize. She never did. Every birthday, a card arrived. Simple. Happy birthday, Mom. We love you. No accusations. No guilt, just love. I placed every card in a drawer without answering, because replying would have meant admitting that I missed her. Pride is expensive. It charges interest. When I turned 88, my grandson Ethan knocked on my front door. I barely recognized him. He was 30 years old, tall, kind eyes. He held an invitation. I'm getting married next Saturday, he said. I'd really like you to come. I almost refused. Old habits are difficult to bury. Then he quietly added, Mom still hopes. Those 3 words followed me all week. At the church, an usher led me toward the front. I think you've got the wrong person, I whispered. No, Mom, he smiled. This seat has always been yours. I frowned. What do you mean? Before he could answer, my granddaughter Lily leaned over in her wedding dress. We've saved that chair for you. At every family wedding. I stared at her. She continued softly. Mine, my brother's, Mom and Dad's anniversary, every Christmas dinner, every Thanksgiving. There was always one empty seat. My throat tightened. Why? She squeezed my hand. Because Mom always said. Lily paused. My mother will come home one day. When she does, I don't want her wondering where she belongs. I couldn't stop the tears. 26 years. 26 years, they had kept a place for me. Not once had they filled it with someone else. Not once had they decided I wasn't worth waiting for. The ceremony began. I barely remember the vows. I spent most of the afternoon staring at the empty chair beside me. For the first time, I understood what it represented. It wasn't furniture. It was forgiveness made visible. After the reception, I found Rebecca standing alone outside beneath strings of white lights. Her hair had turned silver around the temples. Mine had turned completely white. For a moment, I saw the young woman who used to run into my arms after school. I don't deserve what you did, I whispered. She smiled through tears. I wasn't saving a chair because you deserved it. She took my hands. I saved it because you're my mother. I began apologizing. She stopped me. We've already lost 26 years. She hugged me. I don't want to lose another day. Sometimes healing doesn't begin with perfect words. Sometimes it begins with someone refusing to remove your chair from the table. Since that wedding, I haven't missed a single Sunday dinner. My great-grandchildren know me now, not as the woman in old photographs, as Grandma, the title I almost threw away because I needed to be right. If you're waiting for someone else to make the first move, ask yourself this: how many empty chairs have already been waiting for you? Maybe they've been saving your place longer than you realize. Maybe the people you believe gave up on you are still hoping you'll walk through the door. The empty chair from that wedding wasn't taken home. It stayed in the reception hall, but another chair waits for me every Sunday at Rebecca's dining table. No one says it's reserved. No one has to. I finally learned that love doesn't always shout for your attention. Sometimes it simply keeps your seat empty.